Hey, it's Evan here with I Can Do It Yourself with part 3 of removing a Mustang V6 engine so that I can get to the flywheel and put it out. In this episode we will be taking off the exhaust from the upper end, and so that's down here, and this is probably the most painful experience you're ever going to have in your life, next to maybe major dental surgery or anal fissures or anything of that sort, because this is really a pain in the ass in the nth degree. And let me explain to you why this is a pain in the ass. Okay, so there's the exhaust down there that's connected to the exhaust manifold, right? Well, for one, it's really difficult to get in there and get your hands in there. You're going to need some special tools, which I'll talk about, special socket connectors so you can actually reach in there. And this is what the bolts are going to look like. They're going to look like this. There's going to be a nut on one side and a bolt on the other side. In my car, they're actually two different sizes. One is a 14 millimeter and one is a 15 millimeter. And these are going to be really rusted and stuck on. We will be first shooting off something like this, like a PV blast or any kind of thing to remove the rust so you can get them out. Because the problem is you're going to get the nut to move slightly, and then you'll just turn it and turn it and turn it, and nothing will go because it's going to be rotating around inside of the flanges like this. So what you're going to have to do is put something on the top end and the bottom end to hold it in place, to lock it, so that way you can actually take a bolt off. Now, once you get one or two bolts off, you'll notice that the exhaust is heavy and actually puts a bind on it. So we're going to actually have to support the exhaust in order to get these things off. So this is going to be a real challenge, all right? So here we go. First thing I'm going to do, and I'm going to be spraying it on the two bolts, but I got to spray from both sides, so I'm going to have to get underneath the car and spray in both areas for both bolts. So for this one, I can get the top one here, and that's about it. That's the top one. Alright, then I'm going to work on all four. Okay, while that is penetrating and doing its work, I'm going to be supporting both ends of the exhaust. Here's the exhaust right here. And what I've done is I have a couple more jack stands, and you don't really have to use jack stands for this. It's not that heavy, but the point is we don't want this to get under a bind, because once you get one of the bolts off, this thing is going to want to drop down, and then the bolts are going to be in a bind, and it's going to be increasingly harder and harder for you to get this thing off. So the goal with this is you need to find a way to scrunch these supports, some sort of a support underneath here to support it where it is, so that it does not come out. And so like here, I can kind of yank it and push on it. Alright, you can see right there it's the highest. So if I keep pushing it this way, alright, there we go. Then that's on there. Now that won't come off. So now when this guy drops out, it should stay right there, and it'll stay just fine. Okay, I'm ready to take off the top bolt, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the top part in a bind. You could either do the top or the bottom part in a bind. I'm going to do the top for this. So I've got a stubby, short 14 millimeter, and I'm going to position that on top of the bolt where it can sit there. Because I need a wrench for this, because this is the emissions socket right here, and it's right in the way to put a socket and have a bar coming through it. So I'm going to set that on here. Now when I start turning it from the bottom in, that wrench is going to turn and it's going to get stuck and the bolt will come out. I've got an impact socket on a universal bolt, and I'm going to use and it's a 15 millimeter, and I'm going to be trying to blow this thing off of there with that. Alright, so wish me luck on that, and you're going to watch it from the top side. Alright, here we go. Got it. So here's what I was talking about. Got it off. So 1/4 way done. Alright, now I'm going to use the same technique for the next bolt. Okay, here's a nice view of under the car. So this is the bottom bolt of the passenger side, and as you see, I've got the wrench on the underside right there, and now I'm going to be blowing this top bolt off, and I'm going to be using the air wrench again for the bottom. with a little bit of a smaller extension because I can't fit it in here. Alright. That was it. Alright, bolt is out. Alright, now we're ready to work on the other side. So I put that little short stubby wrench on the other bolt on this other top side. Now this is, I had to put it on the clamp end, not that circular bottom end, because I couldn't even fit it over this little weld joint right there. So if you can see that, so I think the moral of the story is you really need to invest in a nice good set of stubby wrenches for this project, and an impact drill. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and pull that one out. Got it. Now let's see if I can even get my hand in there to get this thing. Man, this is really, really tight in there. Ugh. Okay. There we go. Alright, I got my hand back out. Oh! Alrighty. Got it. One more bolt left. Whew. Okay, now for this side of the car, for the bottom end here, I'm gonna have to get a little ingenious because I can't get reach from the top end to get this wrench in. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm going to take it from the bottom end and put it up here. You scoot in here. Okay. Alright, so I've got it just hanging off of the bolt on the underside, and now I'm going to use my other hand to blow this off, and I'm going to use, if it falls, then I can use my other hand to hold it up there. Alright. Let me get this position. Sorry you can't really see this very well. It's not an easy way to get a camera in there. So that's it. Alright. All 4 bolts are off. Done. Problem solved. Okay, now I'm going to be taking off the main bolt that's holding the engine onto the K-member. There's 2 massively giant bolts under the car, and what I'm going to be using for this is a 21mm socket, and I've got it on this crazy funky universal joint right here. And what you do here, when we zoom in and I'll show you, is there is a hole right over here. Okay, and you can access this hole and then pull off that bolt. So let me demonstrate for you. Okay, maybe a little bit more work than I thought it was to get that guy, but got him out. Now to the other side. Okay, I'm going to be removing the starter. The starter is attached to the flywheel and this bell housing right here, and it's held on by 2 bolts. This thing is really heavy, so watch out, it will fall on you. And make sure that you do have the power disconnected, because this will shock the ever-living bad things out of you. And so there you go. So for this, we just need some of our sockets here and our wrenches. And let's see which kind of wrench I can use. Alright, I found the right wrench to use, which is the 13, and I'm going to have to use this side here because, see, this is right in the way. I'm going to have to use this side of the wrench because this wire is in the way, and I don't want to break that off, right? So let's break this down. And it could be on there. Alright, now to get to the top bolt of the starter, I found it was actually easier to come in from the top of the car. So here's the top of the car. Shove the light down in there so I can see the bolt off the end over here. Okay, here we go to the rescue again. Alright, got the bolt out, and I had to use my impact 13mm with an extender on here. The only way I could do it. Alright, so again, buy good tools. Alright, we got all the bolts out. The top one, that was pretty hard, and now the bottom one, so it should be coming out if I give it a welly yank here. Okay, there it is. That took quite a bit to get out. I had to do give it a little bit of welly, as they say in Britain. And now I'm going to go ahead and unhook it, just so it's just not in my way. And that's it, and then put it away. Anyway, this is the end of part 3 of this video. So our 3 bolts so far, this is it, which we can identify all these. These are the exhausts that we just took off in this episode, and the main engine bolts holding that on. Then I got hood bolts, and then my license plate, and that's it. That's all that's in here. Alright, so next episode, we'll be taking the transmission out of the bolts and start checking. See you later. Bye.